When we think of the unluckiest football players, names like Michael Ballack, Jack Wilshere, and Ronaldo Nazario often come to mind. I mean, at least to me, man, I don't know. Most of these players have been set back by injuries or have had the worst luck in the world when trying to lift any trophy. Others just never filled their potential to their full capacity. But there is one player whose story stands above all others, leaving us with a feeling of empathy and admiration for anyone who is a true football fan. His name is Marco Reus, and his streak of bad luck has made me truly feel bad for him. This has made me reevaluate how unlucky he has been in his whole career, despite not being a Borussia Dortmund or German supporter. Imagine this, a player with immense talent, destined for greatness, only to be plagued by untimely injuries and heartbreaking losses. That player is Marco Reus. And I am saying this now because in the 2022-2023 season, I concluded that this had gone way out of hand. His bad luck had built up to an extreme that was unbearable to watch as a fan of Reus and a fan of him early in his career. Fast forward to the end of the 2022-2023 season, Borussia Dortmund had the league right in the palm of their hands, but in the last game of the season, needing just one win against Mainz, who was a mid-level club that season, who also just had lost 4 out of the 5 games going into that game, were not able to get it done. By halftime, they were down 2-0, which made it almost impossible to return. Even with that result by halftime, Borussia Dortmund were able to come back from that deficit and tie the score in the last minute of the game. And with that loss came the triumph win of another Bayern Munich team lifting the trophy yet again. And yet, Reus has endured even more lows throughout his career. He has struggled to secure trophies for his beloved Borussia in the last 10 years, apart from those early years under Jurgen Klopp in 2013. Jurgen Klopp was a manager to make Reus the player he is today, and without him, he hasn't lifted a league title since. 2013 was the last time he will lift the league trophy. It's remarkable how a player's journey can evoke such strong emotions, transcending club loyalties and national affiliations. His loyalty to the club is genuinely his most remarkable trait. Many people feel extremely bad for him at this moment in time because in his prime, he could have left for clubs like Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Manchester United. But instead of leaving to play with more prominent players, he decided to stay loyal to the club that raised him from a young age and made him into a superstar. Players nowadays aren't able to stay at one single club, so his loyalty to the club is genuinely marvelous. The only other player that I can think of in recent memory that has been able to stay at one club despite other clubs wanting to buy him has to be Totti from Roma. Other than Totti, this is a rarity among players nowadays. That's the only reason why it's hard not to imagine the success he could have achieved at another club instead of staying with Borussia Dortmund. And yet, Reus has had many other lows in his career. Fast forward to 2014, and the world eagerly awaited the FIFA World Cup set in Brazil. The World Cup is usually where new stars are born onto the footballing scene, and many speculated that Marco Reus would become one of these players. Marco Reus, known to be one of the top European prospects at the time, was set to represent Germany on the grandest stage of all. But tragedy struck during a warm-up match. This was a few weeks before the World Cup. Reus suffered an ankle injury that shattered his dreams of donning the national team jersey. It was a crushing blow that left fans across the globe feeling his pain. It's even more painful that Germany in that year reached the final and won the World Cup without any of his help. That German squad was stacked with players like Toni Kroos, Mesut Ozil, Thomas Müller, and many others. That team had it all except Marco Reus in their squad. That had to be a demoralizing moment, especially knowing that he would have been a starter in the squad 100%. The only reason I'm saying this is that the other wingers in the team included Andres Schürrle, Lucas Podolski, and Mario Götze, and I believe that he was ahead of him regarding his ability and potential on the pitch. He was definitely the better player out of all those options. In the following years, injuries also became an all too familiar companion for Marco Reus. He seemed to attract misfortune like no other, whether it was knee problems, muscle strains, or ligament tears. The statistics speak for themselves. Reus missed 100-ish games from injury between 2014 and 2019. But it wasn't just injuries that plagued Reus' journey. The near misses or the irresistible taste of glory slipping through his fingers. In 2013, Borussia Dortmund reached the UEFA Champions League final, standing on the precipice of European glory. Yet, destiny had other plans, and Bayern Munich, as always, emerged victorious, leaving Reus and his teammates heartbroken and wondering what could have been the outcome if they had won just that game. Moments like these make you feel for Marco Reus, transcending the club loyalties and national boundaries. He possesses a rare blend of talent, dedication, and resilience, but the cruelest twist of fate had plagued his career. His name could have been etched among all-time greats in a parallel universe, but the football gods had other plans. In recent years, he's become into some consistency, registering more sustained runs without absences, and he's even continued to put up impressive numbers despite getting older. For example, 6 goals and 4 assists in 25 games in the most recent 2022-2023 campaign, and something he should be commended for is coming back strong after so many setbacks. As non-professional athletes, we all tend to overlook the mental aspect of overcoming an injury. Many people would pack it all in after going through some of his more severe injuries. Many athletes have done just that. Marco Reus has had a promising career, and it's still ongoing and robust, and still has a lot to give to Borussia Dortmund and to the sport. So, as we reflect on Marco Reus' journey, let us remember his incredible spirit, the battles he fought, and the strength he exhibited in the face of adversity. Let us acknowledge him as one of the unluckiest players in history, a figure whose story reminds us that football, for all its glory, can be a ruthless game.